Hello, welcome to the land of Kakiak. My name is Laurel. So after a little summer hiatus, we are back to school. We just finished our second week. I've actually been doing some homeschool at my mom and dad's house. They're not here, so we're taking over the house. This is my oldest's first year of high school, so that's a big change for us. Just the kind of courses he's taking and like what I'm expecting out of him and how much independence he has and stuff like that. So over the last 2 weeks, I've just taken a lot of like random footage. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to share necessarily. So you're basically, we're gonna look at today is just all the random footage I took the last 2 weeks and kind of my thoughts and where we're going from here or what I've learned this week and stuff like that. So if you wanna hang out, I'll be here for the next 10 minutes. So like I said, we are doing school at my parents' house. This is the, eating area. That's the only table in the house over here. And I am setting it up. I did this like the night before we started our first day of school. The reason we're working over here right now is actually because my husband is going to be working on our downstairs floors in our house. So the house is just going to be all ripped apart for, really, who knows how long. All I know about house projects is they cost 3 times as much and take 5 times as long as you think they're going to. And then you're just living in complete chaos, and it's really stressful for me. I know that people have different tolerances for clutter and kind of chaos in their environment, and mine honestly is extremely low. So I got permission to use my parents' house in the meantime. We decided to use just the dining table or the kitchen table. And my mom already had that cute little Lazy Susan on her table. And I was like, that's actually going to be perfect for putting all of our little caddies with our pens and pencils and, stapler, glue, tape, highlighters, all my little goodies that I like to have everybody able to reach just like right at their fingertips. And it was a nice big one. I think she got it at Hobby Lobby or someplace like that. Maybe Amazon. I don't know. But it's a nice big one. It's bigger than the one I have one in my kitchen that I love for my spices. But I was like, this one's like bigger. I love it. Anyways, enough about the Lazy Susan. I also love these little pen caddies that I'm putting on the table. I will put a link to them in the description box because they've just been really convenient and really helpful to keep things organized. But like for the longest time, I just used like some Dollar Tree vases or something to stick pens in, which I still actually have some on there. I think my highlighters are in there. So you don't have to spend a lot of money to set up your workspace. I do love these book holder things that you see, these book holders I'm putting up. We use these a lot actually. You can get little your timers are magnetized. I love they can just like stick on the back of them, just magnetize right to them. They're collapsible, so if you need to like storm or move them from place to place, they're just really convenient. So I just wanted to make sure everything was like physically set up. Our environment was clear, kind of decluttered, just what we needed set up. I did bring over those little mats you see I put down. I'll link to those too, because I just know I don't want to get anything on my mom's table. And then I just threw all of our like stuff that we keep for each one of us. I just showed that was my little box of stuff I keep at my fingertips. But then the boys, they all have their own little basket with their own notebooks and curriculum in there that they use on a daily basis. There's William and Bo's. And then I brought over our science kits for Arborean builders, science courses this year. And then of course I had to do some groceries because we're going to be here for lunch. And I like to make sure that there's, snacks, or if we get up late and we're getting over here late in the morning, I want to make sure there was a little something for breakfast. So I had to stock the fridge. But this is actually the first day of school. Everett is using Shorman math. So you saw him on the computer doing that on his own. He's a freshman this year. My littlest, Bo there, he is 7. He's a second grader. And my middle son, Will, he is 9. He's almost 10. He'll be turning 10 next month, and he is a 5th grader. He is like, I was fairly torn on what to do with him for school-wise. He is absolutely as young as you can possibly be for a grade. Like his birthday is the cutoff date in our state, September 20th. Like it is the cutoff date. And I remember the public school would not let me hold him back so that he could be like one of the oldest versus one of the youngest. So anyways, I just kind of based off how he's doing academically, what kind of quote unquote grade he's in. Anyway, so we're just going through our stuff. Everett's got his to-do list. He started making one. The first week, I didn't do all the subjects, like the first week for my oldest, because all of them are so different. He's a freshman this year. And so he's got so many courses, and, I'm wanting different things out of different courses, and there's some are on the computer. He's got 2 things that are on the computer, and like everything else is out of books. And so I just wanted to make sure that we weren't like being overly stressful the first week, and we're just kind of figuring stuff out. And then I will just say, one thing we are working on this, here we're back at my house, this is like, breakfast the next morning, is really trying to get the kids trained to be more responsible for themselves. Like, you wake up, we have take your vitamins in the morning. I put them out, but they're responsible for taking them and putting them back away. I do make little pill boxes. This is for my ADHD son, who I give him that energy. I'll link it in the description box for you, because it didn't have any dyes in it. Like, it's like an caffeine drink. That's really helpful for him in the morning. I give him some ginkgo and some multivitamins too, of course. Here's just another day. We're just excited to be back at school, using our everything else notebooks. That's what these 2 are working in right now. I'll link those for you. And this has specific subject pages for specific subjects in them. We're still loving our study arithmetics textbooks. I just buy the printable ones. I will be doing, I think, a more in-depth video, because people ask me about those a little bit. So I need to do a more in-depth video. If you have any questions about the study arithmetic series, leave them for me in the comments. And really, if there's anything you see, leave me a comment. This was a game that was mentioned in the Sign of the Anchor book that we're reading for the Good and Beautiful History. And so we were trying out the game that the kids were playing in one of the chapters. And we actually are really liking the book, the Sign of the Anchor so far. It's a good read so far. This is our first lab that we're doing. This is for Science in the Ancient World by Berean Builders. We love this whole series of math books. I literally bought them all. The younger 2 are close enough in age, right, that I'm like just doing their science together. And then my oldest son is doing earth science, Berean Builders, and he has a separate kit, and he does that stuff more on his own. I just kind of check his work. And I will link to the videos if you're interested in the curriculum I chose for him and stuff. I will link to that in the description box. Oh yeah, I'm telling on myself. This is how messy my room was this day. We spent 3 weeks in Oregon this summer visiting family, and we literally came back and just like dumped all our stuff. Like, we're so behind on laundry, everyone's room. It was just chaos. It was like probably not the best idea for me to push forward to start school. I probably should have waited till I had my house in order. But it just got to a point where I was like, I cannot just keep leaving especially our bedrooms was like driving me nuts. And I needed to go through the little boys' clothes. I need to take out all their clothes that are too small, right? And donate them. And then usually, the stuff that's too small for Will, but still good, I hand down to Bo, all that stuff. So while I was organizing his closet this one day, Will was in charge of organizing his desk, because he's really into engineering. He wants to be an engineer, and he loves Crunch Labs. I will link that to you. We have a year subscription. So we get a box every month for him. And he loves watching Mark Roper's videos. I'm just giving him some instructions about how to declutter his stuff there. I wanted to show you, I did clean my room. Hey Mom, I did clean my room, and I made my bed, if you're watching this video. My mom was always a stickler for making your bed, making it look pretty. There's Angus. If you notice, that's our mascot for the land of Kakiak. If you notice our logo, that's where we get it from. And yep, that just proving to my mother that I did clean my room. But I did have to catch up on laundry, right? Like, that's the laundry life chose me. I always do laundry in my bedroom because there's already 2 of us in there, right? So I can put my husband and I's clothes straight away. And then the little kids, I usually throw all their stuff into one basket and then have them take it to their room and put it away, which they sort of do. but it's the fastest way. And then I throw everything else in another basket and have my oldest pick it up and put his stuff away. So that's how we do laundry. We're back at school. This is just lunch break at Mimi and Opa's house. William's always teasing me. And a shot of all three of the boys together working. I hardly ever get that. Oh, I did start the Chronicles of Narnia series with William this year. It's 5th grade. We are still doing McGuffey reader lessons. I'll probably have to give an update on how language arts and everything is going this year. But I was so excited. I made him a reading plan that he's following. You saw that there. And I am using these comprehension questions from the Robinson curriculum that I have access to, since I have a subscription there, to jump off book talks and stuff with him on them. And so I will tell you the truth. It took me a full week to get their room clean, a full week. I would typically do it every morning a little bit before we left and went to my mom's house for school. So I just wanted to prove, again, I did finally get it done, but it did take me fully a week to declutter their clothes and, all that stuff. So this is the end of the second week, and I'm just catching up on all my record keeping to make sure, mostly it's my oldest. I have to make sure that he actually got his work done for the week, so I can see if I don't have anything marked out. I haven't checked that work yet. And I'll link to some videos in the description box too, where I show you how I use these sheets. And this is a new thing for me to keep record keeping this way. And I actually went to doing it for all three of the boys, and just to use far less paper for the year than the way I was doing it. This is Everett's to-do list from this week. And then he had whatever didn't get done. I highlighted what he still needed to do this weekend that didn't get done over the week. And then I made him a new to-do list for next week. Eventually, I'd like him to take over making his to-do list, but we were trying to figure out what was the best way, what did we want to put on there so that he doesn't get lost, just because everything is so different with all these different curriculums and all the different ways that you have to look for what's due and stuff. So we were kind of experimenting with that. Last but not least, I'm actually educating myself over the weekend. I bought a course on morphology, and so I will put a link to that if you were interested in that kind of stuff too. Anyways, happy homeschooling.